Hey y'all, it's Dr. Know-It-All, so I'm apologize for the sound of the air conditioner and also for the location that we are. Oh, wow, okay. It's in full, I've just downloaded Full Self-Driving 10.12.2 and I'm on Jekyll Island. That's where we are. So I don't know what's going to happen. That was actually really cool. I just started that out with a roundabout and it actually handled that really well, just coming straight out of the parking lot and into the roundabout. So I will tell you, I don't expect the traffic to be horrible, and I've just put in some random directions to give us places to go, which is great. I will tell you that if we see golf carts, pay attention to the visualization because it does not understand what a golf cart is. I'm also curious to see what we're going to do with this guy on a bicycle because assuming that this truck goes around the guy, it clearly sees the guy on the bicycle. But assuming that this guy goes around the guy on the bike, we will hopefully also go around the guy on the bike. But I have no idea why this guy is taking so long to go around this guy on the bike. It really shouldn't take that long. So, okay. Now the car definitely shouldn't go because you can see that there are people up here. So, anyway, I normally would do my first drive with the Beta at home on a path that I'm used to, but since I'm not, I'm actually going to give it a shot here. So anyway, okay, so at this point it should go around the guy on the bicycle. It is not going around the guy on the bicycle. So, because we're making a left turn here, so it wouldn't make sense for the to go around. Oh, this is too bad. I was very curious to see. Okay, so this is an unprotected left. I mean, such as it is on an island, it's not particularly terrifying of an unprotected left. So anyway, obviously we're only going to get certain kinds of traffic types of situations on the island, but I figured I would go ahead. It's like Full Self-Driving gets to go on vacation too. I also discovered something interesting today, which is that, at least as far as I understand it, when the car is plugged in, so we have not free supercharging, just free charging at the hotel we're staying at, which is awesome, and I do have my adapter, so that was good. But when it's plugged in, it doesn't seem to engage the overheating protection. So I looked at the car today, and it was 62 or 63 degrees centigrade, which is, over halfway to boiling. So it was pretty terrifying. Anyway, you can see it's very beautiful here on Jekyll Island. But yeah, so that's unfortunate. So that means that probably during the day, what I'm going to have to do is leave it unplugged so that it actually has a chance to turn on the overheat protection. That does mean it's going to drain the battery. So I guess what I'll do, there's like 6 charging stations, so I'll just plug it in the evening and let it charge back up again because it will use some of the battery to save the overheat. But clearly very far south. Okay, so it's making a right and there's a car coming, so hopefully it will. It's creeping, but okay. That was interesting behavior. Okay. Okay, okay. So the feel, and you may not be able to tell from the video, that felt more confident. What happened was, as soon as it began the turn, it actually ramped up speed and didn't kind of hesitate. So that was a very positive thing. By the way, I just literally put in a spot on the map, so I have no idea where we're going. So we're just going somewhere. And by the way, if you haven't caught my release notes, definitely check out those. I'll link those at the end of this video and also probably put a card up here somewhere. But the release notes, I go into all the new stuff about this, and a lot of it has to do with confidence, has to do with left-hand turns, has to do with better lane geometry. I did run this for a couple of minutes because my son went and got himself sunburned, so I had to go pick up $13 freaking for aloe vera stuff. Anyway, so as I was leaving the parking lot, the visualization was amazing. You could see all of the cars in the parking lot, and before, I don't think it did that many vehicles. I think it was much more limited in terms of its visualization. So the visualization is substantially better. It was really cool to see it run. Again, sorry, I don't really have that much interesting to test this on at this point, but that's good. It handled that well. And I'm going to try to put in maybe a location here after it reaches wherever the heck I'm going right now. So we'll see. It still says 1.9 miles still. So I have no idea, but we'll see what happens. Unfortunately, I'm not seeing the golf cart thingies because I know from my friend Mars Embassy, who is in South Padre and Boca Chica, that it does not understand. And I was hoping that this new version of the software would understand the what when it saw a golf cart, but it clearly still doesn't because I went by one on the way. Let's see how it handles this little yield sign. Okay, so it kind of saw that as a traffic cone, but that was a little close for my personal taste. It wasn't dangerous, but it was a little close to that sign. But anyway, it did sort of recognize it as something. Oh, here comes these are all stopped golf carts, but I'm very curious to see what it visualizes them as. So I guess it doesn't visualize airplanes. So yeah, you can see here that it gets really confused. It thinks they're trucks or SUVs or all kinds of things. So it clearly is having issues still in terms of understanding what a golf cart is. And the danger of it, when it's coming the other direction, it doesn't really matter. But when you're following it, it thinks of it as a bigger vehicle than it actually is, and so it gets way too close to that vehicle. So if you think about it, like if the back lights on a golf cart are this far apart, and it thinks it's a car where they're this far apart, it's going to think that it's much, much closer to that vehicle. And since the car is not using radar anymore, it's only using vision, it will get confused by what's going on, and it will get too close to that vehicle because it thinks that vehicle is further away than it is. So anyway, it is a problem. If it was using radar, it wouldn't be an issue because, of course, it would use the radar and it would discover that it would bounce that off and discover that it was too close to that vehicle and it would stay further away. So anyway, I don't know if we'll get any luck in terms of having one of those vehicles show up around here, but anyway, it's handling light traffic on a 2-lane road very well. And I think actually, I don't want to stop in the middle of the road here because I would like to go back in this neighborhood. I'll try to find a spot back in this neighborhood as soon as we go. So it did start to slow down for that Mazda Miata before that it turned off. So I did hear that, by the way, that the blinkers actually work now. So like if somebody's at a turn signal, I will definitely test this again when I get back to Athens and give it a test in the territory that I know where I am and can give it a good run. But this is interesting to see because it's a very different environment and it seems to be handling it quite well. Again, visualization seems really good. It seems to visualize more vehicles than it was before. So, all right, I think it's going to turn here, I believe. Maybe. Maybe not this one. Maybe it's the next one. Okay. Like I said, I literally have no idea where I'm going. Oh, I guess that's the location. Fortunately, nobody's behind me. Okay, so let me go find something else. I'm going to turn off the road up here just to get out of traffic. Not that there's any traffic on the road at all, but I'm going to try to put in a different location that takes us through a little more of these back roady areas. All right, so let us... Yeah, you can see Jekyll Island's a pretty teeny-weeny little place. I don't know. Let's see. Where do we have here? I thought there was kind of like a little hometown. These actually look interesting. Maybe we could go back to these cottages. Let's go to the cottages of Jekyll Island. Why not? Okay. So I think, yeah. Let's just go ahead and engage autopilot. I don't know if it'll do that. Okay. There we go. All right. So let's engage it. All right. It's gonna make a little multi-turn little thing here, so that's cool. Apologies if I don't find anything more interesting than no traffic. So yeah, this is unfortunate. This is one of those situations where the car, if we could do those rolling stops, it's a situation where there's like just no point at all in not rolling a stop sign because there's clearly no traffic around. You can see the Spanish Moss quite lovely here. South Georgia is very, very pretty. The beach isn't the prettiest thing in the world, but the island itself is really nice. And again, so now we're going straight into the sun, but it seems to be handling that pretty well. And, okay. Interesting. It's kind of slowing down a little bit sooner than I would have expected it to, but again, no big deal. So, all right. Nobody's to the left. So, that was an interesting stop. It came to a stop, but it was pretty minimal. Maybe for a second. So, maybe Tesla's like cheating. They're like, okay, what we're going to do is we're just going to make it as minimal of an intervention as possible. So we'll make it very, very short stops. Anyway, once I get back out on this road out here, that's where I should probably see some golf carts. And I think we'll go back through that. Let me see. Oh no, we won't go through the turn. We'll go through the turnaround. I'll put another destination in. Maybe I'll put in our hotel. But we'll go around that roundabout again because I thought it handled that very well coming straight out of here. I thought that was really, really good. So anyway, all right. What are we at? 6:45. So it's later in the evening. If it was a little bit earlier, like the poor car was just having a really hard time keeping up with the air conditioning earlier. So it's fortunately kicked it down now that there's more shade. But it's really hot down here. I guess it's June 1st, so we're full on in summer at this point. All right, so again, it's very difficult to evaluate this on such a... It's like literally haven't seen any traffic so far. So I guess, ooh, here comes some excitement. There's a car parked on the side of the road, so let's see if it handles that okay. Ooh, and a car coming at the same time. What excitement! Woo! FSD on vacation, baby. I think that's what I'll have to title this this video, is FSD on vacation. Because it's not like this is particularly stressful stuff. So anyway, I really am hoping that we'll see some of those golf carts. That's the one thing I really want to find. And in the meantime, it's definitely driving very well. On the way down here, we were driving with the 10.11. Okay, that's interesting. That was not really necessary. It slowed down a little bit going around the corner when it saw the truck, but I don't think that was super necessary. But it also wasn't violent. It was just a minimal thing. Okay, that was a little more violent. So it seems to be, as it's going around these curbs, when it sees a car, it's slowing down. I was going to say, when we were driving down here, we had a couple of really interesting incidents. Oh, here comes one. Okay, hold on. I'll talk about that later. So you can see that is not a golf cart. So again, when it's going opposite directions to it, it's no big deal because it identifies it as a vehicle. By the way, it identified it as a SUV, a truck, like a UPS type of truck, a motorcycle, and a pedestrian. I've seen all four of those different types of identifications with golf carts. So it has a definite hard time. And the worst is when it's behind it because it doesn't get the range correct. But anyway, I was saying on the way down here, we saw some like marks on the road, and it was phantom braking really badly with that. It was on the highway, so we were doing 60 miles an hour or whatever, and then it saw those. Oh, let's see if it actually sees, because I think it's supposed to visualize open doors. So nope. All right. Oh, it did visualize the open door. Didn't identify the open hatchback on the back, but it definitely visualized an open door. So that's very cool. But anyway, it phantom braked on a couple of tar marks in the road, and it was really interesting. I didn't have the thing recording at the time, but you could see like it flashed like a person in the road. And so at 60 miles an hour, it was like, and it just slammed the brakes on. Let's see if we see this door open too. So we should see this door on this vehicle. It kind of sort of did it. Okay, now we've got a bicycle coming up and pedestrians, so hopefully we'll visualize that. So again, none of this is particularly stressful, but it's just interesting to see how the visualization is working. So the people are much more fadey. The bicyclist was very good, but then again, the people weren't on the road, so it probably was one of those like, I'm not going to really pay attention to them sort of deals. So anyway, I'll be curious on the way home if we go past those types of tar marks, whether the car does better with phantom braking, because it is pretty violent. When it thinks it sees a pedestrian at 60 miles an hour or so, it brakes very hard. And even though it's just for a second or two, because it realizes very quickly that it's not, it is kind of violent and disturbing. So anyway, so yeah, so there's a whole bike path along here on the side of the road, which I'll have to remember because that would actually be really nice to run tomorrow. So, but yeah, it's seeing the cyclists pretty well, even though they're off the road. And again, let's see, I'm going to, well, yeah, let's go ahead and let's put in our hotel, which is that one. So, give a little advertisement for Courtyard Marriott, right? So anyway, so now it's going to go, in 3 miles, it's going to go around that roundabout, which will be interesting. So this is, sorry, it's also a very slow speed limit here. So, oh yeah, see, it's really cool. Like when it sees the cars, it's visualizing things much, much further away than it used to. So that is actually really, really interesting. I think that's fantastic, like news that it's doing that. All right. So anyway, a little bit difficult to evaluate because it's not like, oh, so now all of a sudden we decided that we're going to go faster. That's very odd. I don't know why it just decided all of a sudden that it was going to pick up speed, because it was cruising at a pretty low speed. Nobody's behind me, but so now I'm at the end of the traffic instead of the beginning of the traffic. So I'm super bummed about the fact that I'm not going to find a golf cart to follow, because it would be really, really interesting. I will attempt to do that, and if I do, I will try to like maybe just handheld, like visualize what's going on with a golf cart, because it's a little hard because they don't. It's just, you have to randomly not run into one. You have to randomly come upon one. I need to be very specific about how I talk. So again, here, not exactly sure what's going on. These people are going really slowly. Oh, because there's golf carts at the beginning of this traffic. Oh, too bad. That would be really cool. They're up there. So here comes another one. Again, you can see, generally speaking, I think it thinks it's an SUV, which is really interesting. But I definitely saw it. Oh my gosh, I mean, look at the visualization. It's fantastic. There's a lot of really cool stuff going on. So let me just check this. Oh, I hope this is still running. Okay. And we get another golf cart coming up. I may pull over right here and just check to make sure. Actually, yeah, it'll be an unprotected left if I do that. Okay, I'm going to take this out. So see, I thought it was a motorcycle for that one. It's fascinating how it gets confused about these things. All right, I'm just going to check to make sure that this is still running because I got a phone call. So hold on one second. Yeah. All right. We're still good. Okay, let's engage back again. Now we'll get a little bit more fun. All right. And hopefully the full self-driving will kick back in again. There we go. I have no idea what it's going to do. Oh, this is going to be interesting because I think this is a dead end. All right. I will be very curious to see what it does here because I don't know what it's going to do. Yeah, it's unable to complete maneuver. Interesting. Okay, so that was really fascinating. So it can't back up yet. So that was definitely going to be an issue, was that it couldn't manage that. So I will back up. All right, so let's engage the autopilot again. This will be an unprotected left up here. Not that it's going to, I don't expect it to be a particularly challenging unprotected left because it should be. It's not like a lot of traffic and it's not high speed, but it is an unprotected left from the stop sign. So let's take a look at what happens. Oh. All right, go. All right, there's this may work out really well. All right, okay, I just don't want anybody to get in the way. All right, so here we go. I'm gonna have to keep an eye on this because I have no idea what it's gonna do with this vehicle. Okay, I mean, it's not recognizing it as the correct vehicle, but it's definitely keeping the proper distance from it. So this is actually really good news. Like really good news. So, alrighty. Cool. I'm super glad that just randomly turned out to be the right thing. But you can see that even though it thinks it's some sort of weird truck shape or something, it's definitely keeping the correct distance away from it. So I'm super happy. So they're making a right here. I have no idea what it's going to do about this. They're pointing. So I got my foot on the brake. I'll stop immediately if I need to. But I don't know what they were doing there. Weird. Let's see. Maybe they're turning right here. I don't know what they were doing. They were pointing. So you can see that the car definitely is not, the full self-driving does not recognize hand gestures, because that I was recording in my brain as a right-hand turn indication. Although I guess it wasn't. But, okay. Sorry, I'm keeping a very close eye on this because I'm definitely, sketched out. I don't know what it's going to do with this thing, since it's very funny how it keeps visualizing differently. But the good part about it is it's keeping the correct distance behind it. So, all right, let's see how we do. I just want to get to the roundabout, and then we'll be on to the next thing. The hotel's just like a mile past there, so it probably, depending on how long we follow this golf cart, will depend on that. So you can see how this really kind of messes with traffic, because obviously the speed limit is 35 here and we're only doing 25, which because that's probably about as fast as that golf cart can go. But this is great news. I'm sure that Mars Embassy is going to be super, super excited about this. So that's really fantastic. By the way, I'm getting in trouble with my wife. She's called me like 4 times. She does not like it when I don't answer the phone, but if I answer the phone, then the video will stop. So I'm taking one for the team here, folks. I definitely wanted to get this thing with recording the golf cart. So anyway, all right. Oh my gosh, you got to stop calling me. This is great. I'm super pleased. I know this is like super boring and I might speed up part of this stuff, but I just want to get to the part where we do the turnaround, the roundabout, because it has to maneuver. It's the second exit, so it has to go around 1 and 2. But anyway, at this point, at this point, what I would do as a human being is I would pass this golf cart, and maybe just in the interest of time, let's just ride out. We've only got 0.8 of a mile to go, so they will do their thing. So, plus the fact there's a big line of traffic coming. All right. This is full self-driving testing, right? So even if it's boring, that's what you get. So yeah, again, I believe that this is the case in general, is that full self-driving beta will not see, it's a dashed yellow line, but it won't pass a vehicle across a dashed yellow line. Now, I am surprised that the people behind me haven't passed. I would think that they would have done that, so. All right. They're looking at me. I don't know what they're doing. Maybe they know that I'm driving full self-driving. Maybe they're like, oh, cool. The car is understanding the golf cart and it's not getting in the way. So, all right. Putt. This is the first time I've ever been to Jekyll Island, by the way. It's very pretty and very, very relaxing. Even though I'm having to do a lot of work while I'm here, it's still nice. So, and I'm super happy to have 10.12.2 to operate with this, because it'll be really fun on the way home to be able to check it out. So, alrighty, almost to the turnaround. Once we go around the roundabout, then I will call it a day. And okay, so evaluation is handling this. As far as I understand it, I haven't had a lot of experience with golf carts. It didn't used to be able to handle golf carts. So even though the visualization is incorrect, it's handling this really, really well. That's a plus. Definitely handling turns better. It comes out of turns and accelerates more quickly with more confidence. I don't know. Again, this is like a super easy test, except for things like roundabouts and golf carts. So I'll have to, put aside some of the more like intense testing until I get back to Athens, where I know how to test it in some very specific circumstances that will, raise the hair on your neck. So anyway, all right, so let's see how it works with this. But I'm pleased with it at this point. It seems to be working really well. All right, is it going to handle this well? Okay, it's coming to a stop. Sorry, dudes behind me. Did not touch it. It's handling this all by itself. And yes, okay, it did it. Wow, super scary. It's a scary roundabout because it's got, big curbs and things all around it. So anyway, so I'm super excited about the ability to do this. That's really impressive, because it hasn't handled roundabouts well. It did come to a complete stop at the yield, which it really shouldn't have. It should have kind of crept around and kept going, but I will call that perfectly fine. So anyway, I'm like super pleased about this. I think it's doing really, really well, and I'm almost back to the hotel. And like I said, I'm going to be in Dutch with the wife because she's called me so many times and I haven't answered the phone. So anyway, you all know that I've taken one for the team by doing this video and continuing filming it, but I really wanted to get that golf cart thing. So anyway, I hope you all have a great day, and I hope this is useful. Like I said, it's not the most intense test. I will definitely test it when I get home in more intense circumstances, but I'm very, very pleased with the first drive.